Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Hope everybody's doing great. I'm going to go fast today. I have to go somewhere and I'm trying to get this recap out. I'm going to just talk about the few trades we had that really worked out well. I'm not going to spend too much time on introduction, just a quick introduction. All these trade recaps, everything, all these teachings are either from my Twitter or my YouTube or mostly from my community. In our community, we trade repeatable system, EMA Cloud System, that thousands of traders trade to trade consistently. We trade repeatable setups. We have that we trade. We do not trade random. We have a game plan in the morning. You can see this game plan. I'll go through some of the plays we played from the game plan today. And then we also have a day 2 setup that we usually play. We'll talk about our day 2 setups as well. Then we provide the levels so the traders can trade SPY, QQQ, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, NVIDIA, all of those using these pivot levels. We'll talk about the Amazon, and we'll talk about Apple long winner recap from these levels. We'll talk about that, and in addition to, we also have our crypto levels we provide every day. We can talk a bit about crypto levels as well. So overall, a very decent day. I'm usually on a voice at the market open. I stay on the voice for a few hours. Today I was on the voice almost all day, guiding the traders through the trades from the morning till the market close, through the various setups, our repeatable setups that we trade. So we're gonna take a look at those. We'll touch a little bit on SPY, QQQ as well. So anyways, trying to finish this video quick today, so I'm just going to start with the first trade. So the first trade we're going to start with is CAVA, right? So before I go to how we traded CAVA, let's look at the pre-market plan on CAVA. So CAVA was gapping up. 165, 164 were the pivots. The resistance was 172. The pre-market planning I gave on CAVA was long over 164 and gap fill under that, right? So that was my pre-market guidance. So as the market opened, so let's look at it, right? The first move is always an amateur move. So I try to short it here. Maybe I can show you guys quickly the guidance, the timestamp guidance. So I try to short it. At the amateur move, gap fill short right at the open. When it bounced over, I covered, right? So I didn't want to get stuck in a squeeze up. But when it did not go over the pre-market highs, that told me that it's gonna get weak. And it was getting weak, and I was ready to short again. I told everybody on the voice that we can short it again. Once it breaks 164, it can confirm. So I told everybody, amateur move not giving direction, stay small on the downside. As soon as it breaks 164, you can short more. And that's how we shorted in the community. 165 ports or any other ports you can short it. And then you can see from 165, 164s all the way to 158. That was $8 per share profit. If your risks were right over the clouds, we're risking $1,000 and then we are making like $5,000 there. So anyways, once it bounced here, there was a 512, right? No need to cover the shorts. You actually hit. When it started to reject here, I told everybody that hit the short again because the 512 is rejecting right here. Right, so that 512 rejections, and I told everybody you can roll into the 155 puts. So 155 puts went, I don't know, I have to see, went all the way 100, 200%, and then we hit MTF. The bounce from there, look at the Fibonacci's. I said it's still heavy. Once it broke MTF, I said use the profit from 150, go into the 155s, buy 155 puts. You can see here, throw some profits into 155s. It's still heavy on 150, and it reached 150 and it reached 146, almost the complete gap fill. This is a textbook gap fill trade, guys. This is how you exponentially, this was literally a home run today. The first puts, you made 5-6 grand. Throw the $1,000 in the second puts, they became 3 grand. Throw the rest $1,000 in the 150 puts, they became another 2,000 grand. So you exponentially started risking, $1,000 less on the shares, and then move to options. You literally made like 10 grand on this trade. So that's the beauty of such a huge setup. Best setup of the day. You see that the first move I took a small loss, but the real move is here, the amateur move. So you need to understand the amateur move. All day guidance, you can see that pre-market prep, live guidance, beautiful short trade. amateur move, trend move, and the gap fill, guys. Home run trade for us, home run there for everyone, 400% or more on the puts, and the total fade on that was for almost for us was from 164 all the way to 157. That was a mega $17 share per share short. You know, that was a beautiful short. Let's go to the next one. So next one, we're going to talk about Tesla. Tesla was a long loser at open for us. We longed it right here, pushed into 344. I wanted to see 345 break to confirm that it's going to run all day. Again, amateur move, trend move. Amateur move was bullish, trend move started bearish. This is where you cut. I told everybody no long, and you can short it if you want. That's our 512 breakdown short. Break here, all the way 3024. Under MTF, no long. Bounces, fail MTF, another fade. And you know where it's bouncing, right? It's bouncing on yesterday's lows. So yesterday lows, pre-market lows, very important levels, right? So this was a recap of Tesla. You can see the timestamp guidance, and you can see how our system lets us trade this, you know, this fade, this trade. It's a beautiful trade on Tesla. All right, next we're going to look at Spot. So let's see what Spot was doing for us. Spot, initially, there was a no long signal on Spot. Neutral bias long if pivot holds gap fill under 445, 465. Those were our two levels. And you see where it's bouncing, right? 455. Right there. That's the level I gave in the pre-market. Look closely. 445. That's their bouncing, curling the 512 longs. This is where you long, and this you can long here as well. This area is your risk. Right here is your risk, and then it starts to break out. When that's when I was away, but when I saw that, I told everybody it's breaking out. The target is 470, and we met our 470 target, and even later it pushed higher. So you can see that's a huge move, guys. It's a huge move from 454s, then 462s, and all the way to 470s. Easy money there on Spot. All you need is few contracts. Even if you had 100 shares, that's more than enough. You're risking $300, $400. You're making $1,000 and $1,200, $1,300. That's the kind of trade you want to do here on these setups. So setup was midday 3450 call and the bounce from the pivot I gave. All right, let's look at the next one. Next one we traded was IONQ. Let's look at IONQ. So IONQ, let's see. IONQ was on our game plan. New patents issued, bullish bias if 2350 holds. Bullish bias if 2350 holds. So IONQ, the long triggered right away. So look what my triggers are here. The trigger is this level, 2444. Once I saw it that breaking this level, that was a long, and that's I told everybody the long triggered. The target, first target I gave was 26. We pushed, pulled back, held 512s. There you can add more 512 calls, and then we pushed higher into 2750. Once it breaks 512, you exit. You can trade again, but you exit. But 28 was my final target. We never really met it, but regardless, you know, you're buying here at 2460. Your risk is 24. You're risking like 60-70 cents, but you're making $1.50 or $2 on this trade. That's a beautiful trade, actually. $2 from 25 to 27. So another nice winner for the community. You can see that if you follow the game plan closely, you can execute it, guys. And just as the game plan was, I try to guide on the voice as well in my alerts feed. All right, let's look at next one. Next one was these were all rocket plays, right? So RKLB, right? So RKLB, which was a long in the morning. You can see that big push, but it was not just RKLB. It was Lunar. It was ASTS. And because they were all space companies, RKLB is a space company, Lunar is a space company, ASTS is the same space company. That's why we had in our game plan Lunar earnings play, sympathy of the space plays, right? So you need to know the sector. If one sector says something good, the other stocks on the sector can ramp up, especially something which is so new, which is a new sector, which is a new hype, the rocket science, and the space things like SpaceX. So you need to follow that. So you see that from the levels I gave in the pre-market on I didn't give the levels on Lunar and ASTS, but you can see that RKLP had those levels. So we were busy in CAVA, but ASTS, the traders in the community nailed ASTS in a beautiful way. They were all over that ASTS. Special shout out to all those traders who nailed that in the community. Drew was on top of it right at the open, and ASTS ran from, you already know where to long it, all the way from 26 to 27. I did give a target of like 30, 50, 58s, and I told everybody to lock right here. And this is when it faded right back, right? Lunar ran for the same reason. So I'm just teaching you, always remember other stocks in same sector, if one is hot, just like nuclear stock, one nuclear stock is hot, other is going to run as well. So this is a lesson in following the theme or the sector. Let's look at another one that was also on our gameplay, ZETA. So ZETA, the reason I want to show you ZETA is, I talked about ZETA in the pre-market was that bearish bias under the clouds, right? These were our two levels, 28, 36, because there's an MTF cloud here. Breaking down, this is confirming the short. So you short it. I was on the voice. This one I mentioned on the voice that it's a bearish, it's a short. Then a short report hits, and you have no reason to cover. It's 512 right all the way. It's a home run trade from 28 all the way to 15, 16 bucks. These are the explosive home run trades. The puts going 600,000-700,000%. So that was ZETA in the community again. All right, next one we're going to look at UPST. So UPST, we tried to long few times, did not work for us. We were long initially right here. I told everybody to long it, but there was so much gap resistance, we failed and we had to take a stop and get out. Then it reconfirmed longs, pushed again from 70 to 72s. I was looking for a bigger trade. Then it again didn't work. We had to get out, break even. So UPST was a loser today, didn't really work, day two setup. So understand where we are stopping out, right here, right here. All right, let's talk about RIVN. RIVN was good for us in the morning when it first started to push. Let's look at here. So RIVN, I said long right at the open. Let's look at the pre-market plan, because most of my traders are already trading that long even before I give the guidance. 1180 breakout and 1140. Only long if 1140 holds. As soon as I see it breaking out the 1180 level I gave and holding the cloud, I told everybody long. And RIVN, from my target was 13. We hit our 13 target. Then we pulled back to the clouds, another entry. Then we pushed again, but it failed to get over the 13. Right? So one thing I told few traders today is, if your entry is far away from your clouds, that's a bad entry. Good entry is closer to the clouds. And if you have a bad entry, you break even, get out. Do not even look at that. So anyways, it was just, RIVN was a long scalp, nothing crazy. I didn't log much at 13. I was trading the shares, but that was the move on RIVN today. And you completely get out right here and don't look back. All right, let's quickly look at Shop. Shopify was our day two setup. Very easy day two, day three strategy. You see, Shop is my number one day two, day three strategy. We had upgrade from 186, 108.66 was our resistance pivot. So I teach it a lot. Day two setups, if they get back over the 34.50, it's a long. So Shop was long, and Shop worked all day for us. And breaking out of 13, I even said you can swing some Shop. I said that 351, and Shop kind of even pushed after I said that, nice into 116. So Shop was a day two repeatable setup. You can see where I mentioned Shop. That was a beauty. There was another day two which kind of turned into a beautiful bearish short. It was a good long day two, same as Shop, but it never held 512s. So this is where you cut, and you can of course short it again. There's a gap. There is a gap. There is a gap, right? And you can make a nice little profit here. Even if you risk like 500,000, you can make like 3-4 times of that risk. Nice fade, almost of a $5 from this 512 breaks. So there are opportunities in day two, day three setups, guys. All right, the next one we're going to look at is Snow. Snow was all about the community trade guidance today. Everybody in the community was making early calls on Snow. Sandeep nailed that early call in Snow. Beautiful, beautiful call. The reason was, guys, the Snow, that the cloud names that were very strong today, right? This is the cloud list, MDB, Snow. So there was a beautiful call, right? MDB was another cloud name which was called out by Lexi today in the community, which was pretty strong there as well. You see that she alerted the Lexi MDB right at 300, right? So that was the whole sector. The whole sector strong. So that's where the opportunities are to long and make money. So you see that we have all these opportunities because we keep track of all these sectors, what sector is strong, what is weak, so that we can nail those opportunities based upon the sector strength, right? So it was a beautiful setup, 300 psychological breakout. All right, now I'm going to talk about semiconductors, and I'm going to talk about AMD, which was an all-day short. I'm trying to finish the video here quick. So let me see if I can show you guys quickly. So you see that we have the semiconductors all day week, no reason to long. SOXL selling, shorted at the open, selling. Taiwan Semi, AVGO, right? Qualcomm, they all are selling. Clouds are strong, but semis are weak. Look at the levels I gave. Look at the ARM level. Once it broke 138, fade, right? AVGO, once it broke 174, 173, fade. AMD, once it broke 142, 68, fade. All these levels that I provide in pre-market, and you can see that we were all day short on the semis. And even I guided on AMD, even on Twitter, there was a news as well. I gave the 140 target. I told everybody in the morning that semis are weak. Semis are weak. So understand the sector, guys. Sector. We talked about the rocket sector. We talked about the cloud sector. We talked about the semi sector, which was short today. Beautiful wins. The puts went crazy on AMD for a lot of traders in the community. All right, let's quickly talk about Amazon. So Amazon, as you guys know, big breakout on the daily chart. We talked about it earlier, that Amazon, and I mentioned in the morning that Amazon, it was the strongest name. I mentioned in the morning on the voice. You see that this is a big 200 breakout. And look at the levels on the Amazon I gave in the pre-market. The levels were 208.42, 209.54. Amazon was the strongest Mag 7 today. You know, if you look at the Big 7 chart, look what my Big 7 chart is telling me. Amazon was strongest, Microsoft was the second strongest. Those were the two names you were supposed to be in, right? If I look at Microsoft breaking over all the MTF clouds, you long here. This was a lot of my voice guidance where people longed the Microsoft, and I gave 428 target, bet much higher. And same for Apple, was very strong once it pushed over the MTF clouds. So that's how you want to use those MTF clouds to stay long, find the long names in the Mag 7. All right, let's finish off with our SPY QQQ trade. How did we trade SPY QQQ? SPY QQQ was the main trade, was the morning short scalp on the puts that went 100%. You can see that SPY QQQ heavy to open, SPY QQQ bearish, QQQ short, only cover if QQQ gets over 513. That's only when you get bullish. It never went over 513 and gave us nice $2 fade. Our 512 puts went 100%, right? Rest of day, it curled. You know, you could get long here, but it was kind of a choppy, but there was a long here, and you could, you know, get out here. Use the Ripster labels if you want. That will tell you when it turns bullish to bearish. All right, guys, that's what it was for today. A lot of opportunities all day in the community. If you want to join the community, you know, we provide a lot of tools worth the $500-600 all free. We have a bunch of scanners, on screen share, option flows, stock scanners, news alerts, voice alerts, a lot of this. And just wanted to do a quick recap today. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.